Hello guys, welcome back to Wagner's Tech Talk. Today we're going to talk about something that's kind of been on my mind for a long time, and that's basically how do they build these huge JumboTron video games? You know what I'm talking about. You've walked into Dave & Buster's or Chuck E. Cheese or Stars and Strikes and you see these massive LED panels that are playing video games, right? Well, they're really impressive. I'd love to have one in the house. Of course, I'd never be able to afford it because I'm sure they're massively expensive. But in this month's Hacker Box, it struck me as very interesting in that in this Hacker Box, which is number 36 in the series, which, sorry you can't see that very well. There we go, maybe a little better there. In this month's Hacker Box, there is a JumboTron LED panel. And also in there is an ESP32, which is a microcontroller. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. You can program it to do, all kinds of things. But basically, you'll see in this particular Hacker Box how to basically build one of these Jumbotrons, although it's on a much smaller scale. It's just the single panel. But I think it's very interesting, and I think you're going to like it. Can't wait to put this thing together. There are a few issues that I encountered in programming the ESP32, and I'll show you how I got around those. But basically, what you're going to see in the video behind me in just a second is a quick glimpse of the JumboTron panel, and it's going to be off on the right-hand side. You can see a little bit of it there. Take a closer look in just a second. The video didn't stay there for very long. We got Space Invaders here over on the far right that's being played on the Jumbotron. And that is what we're going to take a look at. We're going to take a look at the LED panel that goes into that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's first start off with what is Hackerboxes? Basically, Hackerboxes is a service that you can subscribe to. It's $44 a month. They have all kinds of cool projects that you can put together yourself. Every month it's something different. Sometimes there's a theme associated with it, and it's really a cool little service, especially if you like tinkering with electronics. So I highly recommend checking it out and see if it's a good fit for you. Basically, let's take a look at the website. So if I go over here to hackerboxes.com, you can see all of the different past boxes that they've had. Over here you see Hackerbox 36, which is the one we're talking about. If you don't subscribe to it and you wanted to pick up this particular box, they're $59 for non-subscribers, so you can go ahead and order it if you're interested. Otherwise, if you are a member, you can go down, even if you're not a member, you can go down to these box guides. And then in the box guides for this particular Hacker Box, up at the top here, you have a video of the box contents, so you can go ahead and watch that video. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of the unboxing and that type of stuff because this video covers it very well. But basically, you probably want to watch this video. And then it goes in and tells you what's in the box. It tells you a little bit about the ESP32 board that comes with it. That's your microcontroller. It's basically a single chip computer. It's got a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in. It's a very cool little chip. It's a little bit difficult to get set up initially. They have some good instructions there, but there's one thing that I had some problems on my Windows 10 computer with, and that was the driver for that particular board. It wasn't recognizing the COM port. So to correct that issue, if you go to this site over here, www.scilabs products development tools software USB to UART bridge VCP drivers, and then scroll down a little bit to download for Windows 10, download this, then plug in the ESP32. It'll recognize it as a COM port, and then you can use the Arduino IDE in order to program the chip. I will put a link in the description below where you can go ahead and download this, because you will need it if you're going to be using this box, or most likely you're going to need it. I did. You might as well. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the configuration that I have set up here for this ESP32 board. So if I go to Tools, this is the board that I'm using, the Do-It ESP32 Dev Kit version 1. If you look through the board manager, you'll see it way down here somewhere. I've got a few boards that I've programmed over the years, and that's it. The Do-It ESP32 Dev Kit. I have it set for 40 megahertz. 80 was probably fine. I was having some issues with the driver, so I just dropped things down a little bit to make sure there were no communication issues. But 80 should be fine. The upload speed I have set at 115.2 baud, and then the core debug level I have set to none. At this point, you want to select the port that's applicable to the ESP32 that you just plugged in. You should see a port appear. If the driver is installed properly, you'll see a port here. And that's basically it from the tools menu. So anyway, we scroll down a little bit further. It comes with a controller board with a joystick and buttons all integrated. Here's the pinouts. This is what the matrix, the display matrix looks like. Here's the wiring diagram for the data in to data out on the LED panel, and the jumper wires that go from the ESP32 to the data in on the display board. Once you get it all built, you'll see something like this, and we'll do some cool stuff once we get it all set up. For programming this particular chip, there is a sample program on the Hackerboxes page, and that's what we're going to use in this video. So essentially you have this Arduino IDE, so you'll need to download and install that. You also have to download the driver for the PX matrix. You can go to Sketch, include library, manage libraries. You have this library manager, and you want the PX matrix. So you simply type PX matrix. You'll want to install that. I already have it installed, but you'll click install. And then once you do that, it'll be able to find the driver for it and be able to program the LED panel. Taking a quick look at some of this code here, not super familiar with it. This is actually the first time I kind of browsed through it. But you see in the setup here where it's setting the pin mode for the controllers, for the joystick, the keys. There's a loop. This is for the snow, the colored lines. So as you press each of the buttons, you get snow, colored lines, stick demo, and this jumbo text. And then down through here is all the setup for the program. So that's pretty neat. The location where you want to download the sample program is kind of here towards the bottom. It's called JumboTron demo.ino, and that's your Arduino IDE sample program. So you just click download and load it into the Arduino IDE. So let's go ahead and start looking at the hardware. But let's take a look here. This here is a 64 by 32 pixel LED panel. Take a look at that. Pretty interesting, huh? It's got all these connectors here where I presume you can daisy chain from one to the other and create a massively large LED panel. Along with it, it came with a joystick, or a little controller board here. I haven't opened this stuff up yet. It just arrived a couple days ago and I hadn't had time to look at it. It has some little buttons, a little joystick, pretty neat. Some cables, and this thing is what's really interesting to me. Let me see if of course I don't have any scissors nearby. Take it out of the static bag. This is an ESP32. It is a small computer on a board. They're pretty much on a chip, which is this one here. It's got a little micro USB connector here. It's also got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in. I believe you use Arduino IDE to program it, which I'm going to do in just a little bit. But basically you use this as the controller for this guy. And when I say controller, it's the computer that's going to allow it to display stuff, and then this guy connects up to it and allows you to provide some gaming inputs to it. So we're going to give this thing a try and see how it goes. Load up their sample program and do some stuff with it. But I just want to show you real quickly what it looks like. There is a detailed unboxing if you're interested in that. I'm not going to do that. This is good enough for me. It does have a little bit of swag items and a cool little Atari sticker. What you want to do is take off 9 wires here, so you count out 9, and then peel it back so you have all of them still kind of stuck together. And then you just slide them on here. Just so happen I've got black for ground, white for power. It doesn't matter, it just makes it easier for me anyway. But you get all these hooked up, and then you hook these up to the ESP32. Okay, so now I have everything wired up. I have the wires going from the input to the output over here on the LED display. Then over here I have all the wires wired up to the ESP32 with the exception of the power. I'm going to go ahead and, or VCC, voltage, 3 volts. Alright, so all that's done, and when you go online to hackerboxes.com for this box, you'll see this, and it shows you all the pinouts going from your data in to your data out. The LED screen is unable to get enough power from the USB port on here in order to power it. So in order to do that, I'm going to use this small board. It's a TP4056. I picked up several of these on eBay. Basically you have your 5-volt in, and then you can wire up a positive and negative terminal here. So we're going to take their cable that they gave us that goes right in here and plugs in like that. We're going to take this and we're going to strip off these connectors, and we're going to solder the positive and the negative to this, and then we'll be able to plug in a USB cable in here. I'm just going to use a power bank that I picked up at Walmart some time ago. So basically you'll plug this in, like that. We got power, and then once we do that, we should have enough power to drive the LCD screen, or LED. I keep wanting to say LCD, it's LED. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with stripping these wires. Alright, we don't need those. We might need them later for something else, so we'll hold on to them. Strip, ooh, those are big. Feels that really good. That's a lot of wire. I don't know if I'll be able to fit that through that little board. We'll figure something out. Alright, so we got negative here. Alright, I can get most of the wires through there, so that's good. I'll just trim those off. Alright, let's go ahead and solder that. Alright, got the solder. Doesn't have to be a great job, I just want to make sure it makes a solid connection to the board. That should hold. I'll trim some of this stuff off here. I'll go ahead and solder a little on the back side. Alright, that should be good to go. I'll do the same for the positive. Alright, that should do it. I've not tried this before, so we're going to go ahead and plug everything up. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll work. So here we have the board, the ESP. Oh, let me zoom out. Got the LCD screen here, board here. There's our battery pack. Let's set that off to the back side. Plug in two USB power, one to power the ESP32, one to power the TP4056. So we'll plug this in here, plug the power in here. Alright, so now we can drive the power to this guy. So right now we're going to plug in the ESP32, which is this guy right here. Plug in power there, and you'll notice here you have a whole bunch of squiggly lines. Let me turn the light out so you can see better. Just a bunch of squiggly lines. That's because this LED panel isn't receiving enough power. So we're going to take this 5 volts going from the second USB line, plug it in here, which is now wired up to power line over here, and we should have enough power to see a proper display. There we go. Hackerbox JumboTron. Okay. Alright, so now if I press A and turn these lights out, you can see all the pretty lines. That's neat, isn't it? What happens if I press B? Ooh, now I have a little joystick control. As I move the joystick, this little dot is moving around. Might be fun for a little Pong game, huh? Pretty neat. If I press B, it goes to this really cool Hackerbox JumboTron LED. Press this button, you get static. That's a pretty neat little demo app. So if you wanted to make a full-size Galaga or Miss Pac-Man or any of those classic arcade games, you could probably rig this up somehow to where it could do that. Of course, you need several panels, and you'd have to understand the wiring a little bit better than what was shown in this video, but pretty neat.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please click the like or subscribe button if you wish. If you want to see more videos like this, please comment below. Let me know if you like it, if you don't. If you don't want to see any more Hackerbox videos, let me know that too. Alright, so
I hope it was enjoyable. You got to see something that you probably haven't seen before, and that's what these videos are all about. Let's talk about technology. There's so much out there. Hey, there's our LED panel right there in use. Very cool. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.